Thank you for connecting to GameChat. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to GameChat episode 2. We've got a good group of people today. It has expanded exponentially. Let's just review who's in the channel. We've got 2 people returning from episode 1, Beater and Bethaby. You want to just say hi to the people?
Howdy.
Hello.
Hello. And we've got 3 newcomers to GameChat. Who wants to go first? What about Angel? Introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Angel, also known as United Nukes. People call me Jeff, and I play a lot of Rocket League.
Awesome. Any gaming memories that you want to share?
I would say back when I used to play my Super Nintendo 64, playing Mario for the first time. It was a good old fun time.
Awesome. Next, we've got Demon Days 88.
Yeah, hi. I'm Demon Days 88. You can call me EJ. My fondest memory would be being terrified of Mortal Kombat, the original intro screen.
Segue into what's going to be happening later in this episode. But before then, let's review our final, last but not least, Jose on the station.
Hello, I'm Jose, also known as Jose in the station. And if I had to give one gaming memory, it would probably be not that days every time I'd get one, just beating it and not even sleeping, just going straight through.
Awesome.
All 3 of them, first 3 of them.
Awesome. So, the rundown for today's show, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to start off with a conversation on the societal impacts of gaming. And then we're going to move into a foray about Minecraft. Then after that, we're going to be reviewing MK11. We're going to get hands-on feedback from the gamers in the channel. And then
most qualified people to talk about it.
The most qualified people to talk about it. Hardcore reviewers. And then we're going to be... Yeah, after that, we're going to talk about the state of Fortnite. Season 9 of Fortnite is out now. And
hello.
We just want to see, 9 seasons in, how is Fortnite how are the players responding to Fortnite, and how's the developer advancing Fortnite? And then we're going to close it out with some news. So let's go first and talk about gaming societal impacts. Who plays games and why? Any thoughts on that initial thing? Who plays games and why do they play games?
Kind of a broad question.
That's very deep.
Let me do a little breakdown here of the societal impact of gaming. So around, I think it's 25% of people, 25% of gamers are below the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that same statistic, 25% of people are over the age of 35. What does that have? What do you guys think of that statistic? Because it shows that people that used to play games back when they were kids are still playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that as gaming as a form of a medium that is just hooks itself on people, and people carry that throughout life, that love for gaming throughout life?
Well, that's it exactly, you know? It's just
Well,
that love for
you can't
gaming,
say
it never
that.
dies, right?
Well, for little kids, they haven't started yet, so it's the initial drive to be like, "Whoa, this is a new world."
Yeah, it's the initial exposure.
We talked about last week how they're finding more and more ways to kind of interact with individuals playing these games.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is adhering to every kind of audience, you know.
The original audience would have been like sad kids who want to escape reality, but now it's really focused on uniting kids through multiple platforms like Fortnite. It does phones, it does tablets, it does console. It's really expanding and it's uniting.
Online gaming taking the world.
Yeah, it really does build a whole community too.
But before, it used to be for the lonely, like, kid who was just bullied at school or just wanted to escape.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Sure.
It could still be like that.
Of course, there's single-player games.
So I'm not sure if you heard that episode I did on gaming initially, but it's around 60% of Americans play video games daily.
Awesome.
And then
Really?
the average gamer age is 34 years old, and about 72% of the are age 18 or older. So it shows that people are growing up with these things. And how do you think that changes the world that we live in when people are expressing themselves in a medium like gaming?
Who wants to go first?
You said, how does it affect the world?
How does it affect the world? How does it affect the people who are viewing the world? Because now these people are viewing the world through a video, like through a screen, and viewing, wholly different worlds than what we're in.
It can be really dangerous.
It can be.
I mean, there's some kids who can't tell the difference yet, but like now there's the caution: don't attempt this at home, and it's really sad that kids think that world is a virtual reality.
Yeah.
But adults, they know now. Some don't. Some didn't understand the difference. But it's a weird.
Yeah, that's why.
Form.
Yeah, that's why some games are rated like mature 17 plus, or for teen, or everyone, or even the one that I don't think's used a lot yet, the adults only. I know it used to be known like for a while, but I don't think they use it anymore. But that's why like they kind of like put age limits on games, and then they say, hey, don't play this until you've matured a little bit, or just stay away from these games entirely unless you're more prepared to do it.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm trying to get at is, how is it now that games are becoming more and more realistic? Sure, because they're becoming photorealistic, the graphics are getting really good, but those games are also infused with real people. So you're playing with real people all the time. It goes back to what we were talking about, online gaming taking the world by storm.
Yeah.
How does it change the aspect, or maybe the gaming plane, when there's so many people in that medium? Does it change the relationship, like the people that how people interact with each other? Maybe for sure it changes how people interact with each other online, because we can see negative and positive impacts of that. But does that change how people learn how to interact with people? And then if we further that, does that change how people interact with people in the real world?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I think it definitely does, and I think it works both ways. Like, I think it can make people even more creative, especially games like Minecraft, where there's so many things you can do, and you can just let your imagination run wild. I mean, interacting with people, even on games like this, I think it can really help a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah,
I agree.
In the real world.
It can. Because as EJ, like you said, the game, like back when games were first developed, and those older gamers, now they used to be like maybe the more shy people, but now they have a whole world in their, like now the shy kids have a whole world in their hands. Does that help them build relationships with people when?
Oh, definitely.
They could just put on a headset? Yeah.
I'd say so, because I'll go, sorry. I'd say so because, I mean, for me, I'm all the way across the country, and
yeah,
I mean, we're doing this podcast together because we built friendships playing these games together.
But that's saying that we're not toxic people to begin with, as far as I know. That we can hold a so-and-so friendship via the PlayStation. There's other people who are very toxic and just will go out and send hate and just think they are just tough as nails behind the screen.
That's just true. Yeah.
And they're just being really mean people, and they think they're protected, but they'll meet someone who's even meaner, and then they'll like send a virus message to them, and it can become a community of hate as well. And I think that having etiquette, a virtual etiquette overall, shows in a community. and how
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
become friends with them.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Yeah.
games now are taking steps to remove toxicity from their communities. Like, for example, Rainbow Six Siege, which we touched upon a little bit in our previous episode. But they, excuse me, they have a report suspicious behavior button. If you feel like the game that you're currently in is unfair or you're unmatched, and there is a friendly fire system, which means that you could kill teammates. But now what they've done is, if you want to ruin someone's day and do that, all the damage is going to come back to you, and instead you're going to be the one who ends up falling on the floor, and you will get banned for it. And that's, I guess, the first step in a long road of trying to cure toxicity.
Yeah. And now, when you're interacting with those people, let's say because we met as adults, right? So we were mostly fully formed in terms of our personalities. But
Definitely.
what if it's a child that is growing in this medium, in this, like, growing with a headset on their head, and they're being impacted by the people that they're interacting with?
Well, I want to start and say that that's kind of what the world's turned into. Like, obviously, M-rated games are clearly not being, made
Monitored.
because when you think of someone playing a rated M game, you mostly think of minors or children, because that's just their form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's why, this kind of jumping the news a little bit. That's why in the Senate, there's that guy that wants to propose a bill to ban loot boxes in games targeted against minors, because even though they have the rated M label, assuming that everyone playing the game is over 17, they're not. They're just not.
Yeah.
And that's something unfair to the game developers. They have no control over, other than labeling their game appropriately.
Exactly.
Those who purchase the game, they have no control over it. They advertise it during certain times of the day where children should not be watching TV. They advertise it in places where children are not. And in the end, the only way to get the game is through an adult. And that's the adult in their life that will not, that's making the wrong choice for their child that they care for, they buy the game for.
Yeah.
Who cares if they throw a tantrum because they don't have the game they want? It shouldn't be a reason. An adult should be stronger than a child in saying, like, no, this is an M game. This has violence. This has nudity. This has vulgar actions. You cannot watch this.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. It's like that video game that came out. I don't remember the year. It was like Far Cry 3. Yeah, that too. But in Far Cry 3 from Ubisoft, when that game came out, that game even now is extremely violent. Like the way you kill people, and like the themes,
racist,
and incredibly, and the themes that are portrayed in, it's not just Far Cry 3, but like the games after, is incredibly. If a kid plays that and watches that, then they're exposed to something negative and something that they're not ready for. Or shouldn't be ready for, period.
Just BioShock and all these games, they're all rated M for mature. It says it clearly. Even the advertisements are put from 8 to 2 a.m., 5 a.m., like the midnight hours. Children should not see these games and their existence. Like, they're only finding out through, like, older brothers. Granted, yes, older brothers, siblings, cousins, aunts, like, parents. But older people should have the authority. If you cannot say no to a child, then you yourself are a child. You should not be playing a rated M game.
Yeah, because as we talked about in the last game, and Beater was put really well, that when you're buying a game, you're buying an experience. And now we can further that definition and say that when you're buying a game, you're buying a platform, and a lot of people can buy into that platform.
And into the community as well.
And to the community, yeah. And not all the people that are buying into it are inherently good or not toxic. And when you're buying that game for a minor, a mature game, say like a Call of Duty or an MK11, like we're going to be talking about, you're buying into the people that are playing that game, and they may not all be the best influence for that kid.
It's
Right.
it's all up to the discretion of who is the influence. You know, just a child should just not be able to have influence over an adult, even if that adult is an avid gamer. If I myself had a child, I would not buy them Bioshock. I would want them to play Mario. I would have them develop themselves into better formed individuals and show them the etiquette that they need.
Yeah.
You can't just throw them off into the wild and expect them to
Yeah.
thrive.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I don't know what you could really compare it to, because there has to be some sort of comparison here where you're putting that kid into a social situation, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
you're having them respond to the people at the other end. And
Exactly.
sometimes you can be lucky and get, a really good person at the other end, and you could build good friendships. But sometimes, you'll reach the
Breaking point.
the breaking point, the people that don't want to have a good time, or they're not having a good time, and they throw that stress and that anger on other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
And in every
it's another
aspect that
topic.
it is, yeah. But in every aspect, that is a social situation, because it's not just a game anymore. It's not just like the single player games that people used to have, like the Mario games. Now we have games like we're going to talk about with Fortnite, where there are hundreds and thousands of people on that game that you come to contact in an hour play session,
Mm-hmm.
and people that can hurt you
Yeah.
with verbal abuse and whatnot.
And I think it's also, when should people have mics? We can all agree that there's some people that should not own a mic. You do not need to talk
Yeah.
and scream into a game. But
Mhm.
especially a minor, 13-year-old, 7-year-old, like 10-year-old, should not have a mic. Like,
Yeah.
granted, headphones can be used as a mic. Anything can be used as a mic. But
Mhm.
why are they gaming unsupervised? Why do they have access to this game right now
Yeah.
while screaming? Like, little kids can scream profanity too. They'll learn it quickly in a toxic environment.
That's
And
true.
it's like,
Yeah.
why are they
Especially for the
not being
multiplayer games.
monitored?
All right, I have a question
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
So when we're all pretty young, early 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when did
Yeah.
we all start playing online games, say like Call of Duties? Maybe some of us a little earlier than that. It's like I for sure started like Call of Duty 4. So I think we're all pretty used to these kind of people we've been talking about, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
started.
You kind
I
of
think
learn
first
along
we-
the way, right?
Yeah.
We've been around the block.
Right.
We've been around the block
Yeah.
a couple times.
I think we're all pretty normal people, you know? I don't think
Yeah.
we're
Pappy
expecting
Poo?
a little too much.
I think
You should answer that.
I think I was 15 or 16 when I was doing like online play. I don't remember. I think the first online game was Destiny.
Oh, yikes.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was a little
Yikes.
late.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about like 8 years old.
No, I think
starting up
no, I
Call
think
of
the
Duty.
first no, I think the first online game was, I remember we played the first Watch Dogs. Probably Booth. We played the first Watch Dogs together.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
multiplayer.
around there then. Yeah.
I think for me it's probably like maybe 4 years old playing.
4.
Stop.
So like,
Seriously, no. I would play Quake on the computer. Real
Oh,
young.
yikes.
Yeah. No, my
Yeah.
my first exposure to video games was playing
Yeah.
SOCOM on the PS2. So I,
That
Okay.
explains a lot.
it really does.
Y'all ever play the Tycoon games?
Psh,
Those
of course.
weren't online, but I
so
like
good.
the Tycoon games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
My first exposure would have been like Call of Duty. I think I played like Guitar Hero, Call of Duty on the first PlayStation, PS2 as well. But I played with my brothers. I played supervised. They would talk. They
Camera
would be
games.
like, "You're trash," and I'm like, "Thanks, teach me. You're trash
bro.
too."
Thanks, bro.
Literally, bro.
Thanks,
Yeah.
bro.
And so it was supervised. It was my brother showing me how to be in this environment and like how to react to people yelling. And if
Yeah.
people are hating, guess what? You can leave the game or you can turn off your mic. You
That's
do not
true.
need to talk to them.
It's
Exactly.
the
And
Need
easiest.
that fuel.
It's
It's
the
easy
etiquette.
Yeah, it's the etiquette, and it's easy to avoid those situations because all you have to do is just close the app, close the game, or just leave them voice chat.
Honestly, but little kids who don't have the guidance will not understand those options. Little kids think that they need to fight back.
Yeah.
They don't have any other options except stand. Or maybe they're too prideful, even though they don't really understand the concept of that. They'll feel some type of need to defend themselves. And it creates more toxic, and then you just breed a toxic gamer, like those in Overwatch.
Yes.
And it's like what we were mentioning earlier, where people feel stronger maybe behind a screen when they don't really show their full selves.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, that is an issue. I mean, I don't think there's really thought around that.
I think that's the main issue.
Oh, Bathaby, when did you start gaming?
I started when I was maybe 12 when I played I played COD 4 and Bad Company 1. But
The first Black Ops scared me. Like the intro.
Mortal Kombat.
The first Call of Duty Black Ops scared me because I remember I bought it. I took it home. I had an Xbox at the time. I put it into the Xbox and then I started playing it. And then the beginning where the main character is getting interrogated with electricity, that just scared me horribly. So I just ejected the disc and I returned it. Nope, not dealing with this.
And see, look, that's a mature game. And
it is.
You were how old?
14, 13, I don't know. I don't remember when that game came out.
And that's the issue. You had the game, but your reaction was, nope, I'm out. I don't need it. I don't want it. Take it away from me.
Totally bought the game a couple years later and played it, but that's beyond the point.
But look, the point was that for your age, it was appropriately labeled.
More than enough.
How did you get that game?
That's good. I don't remember. I just remember booting it up and it's scaring the living daylights out of me. Then I'm like, nope, see you later.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's my usual reaction with horror games nowadays. Oh, boot it up. Oh, it's scary. Okay.
When can I get my refund?
Yeah, get my refund real fast.
Let me get that Outlast refund.
You get your $7 from your $60 game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Should we go back to the question, the central question?
Yes.
Yes.
What game did you play, and how did you react with AB?
Like I said, I did COD, and that was I think where COD and Halo was where a lot of the toxicity started to brew.
Of course.
It was all about.
That's where a lot of us grew up, right?
Yeah.
All about
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
That's
it was all about being better. And if you weren't better, then the only way you knew how to respond online is to lash out because, like we were talking about, it gives you a sense like you're hiding behind a mask when you're on.
Yeah.
And like Poppy Poo said, you're on that you're buying a platform to connect to the rest of the world, and it's very scary. And of course, people are going to want to hide, things about them.
Yeah.
But you see,
and it's just what you show in terms of your profile and how you show yourself in terms of your voice.
Yeah.
And how you interact with people.
Yeah.
And is that that could also be viewed as a strength of the platform too, because as you mentioned with the giving somebody a mic, right? When you're giving that person the microphone, you're giving them a voice in the game, in the platform, in that world. Should there be a limit to when, or to an age appropriate time where the voice should be given?
Yes.
The voice, because if we took look at it this way, just in the general society, let's take the U.S. When you're 18, you can vote, right?
Yeah.
So you have a voice. You have a voice in that society. In a game, when should you be allowed? Is there an age appropriate time to have a voice? Is it dependent on the game?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think you need to develop as a person before you get ready to go on the internet, because if you're like a kid going on the internet, then it's a new scary place, and you can pretty much make up anything. You know?
Yeah.
You can,
But that's when you introduce the language of develop as a person, it's tricky because is it 18 when you're allowed to vote? Is it 21 when you're old enough to drink and gamble? Is it when you're actually like when your brain is fully developed at like 25 to 27?
right.
No, I
I
wouldn't.
think
I
you
wouldn't go
just
that
need
far.
to have a general understanding of the real world and understand that the internet, while it's, revolutionary, it's not exactly the safest place. And
Exactly.
there are all types of people on there. And I think before you get your voice ready, you need to understand that you need to understand what the internet is pretty much. Like
Yeah.
understand there are people that'll try and steal your info, and then
Yeah,
there
there's
are
people
nice
who read
people
your
that
IP
you can-
address.
Yeah.
And I think it's also that you should base it not only on the game they play, like in Call of Duty. I would have my mic because I would play multiplayer because I'm scared of zombies,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have to talk to my teammates just because I wanted to see what they were doing. I
Yeah.
wanted to talk to them, but obviously being a girl in a gaming environment, which is predominantly male, it would be really awkward. So I would leave and not use my mic. And that's
Yeah.
something you learn. You learn and you adapt. But
Yeah.
it's because I knew I was a mature level of yourself, which was like, obviously my brother could have put a password on the PlayStation to prevent me from going on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. It was
can do
he
that?
saw that yeah, you can. Parental controls, my guy. But
know that.
I'm gonna go put some parental controls on Bat's PlayStation.
You have access to my account. You have access to my account. I don't know how you haven't already.
But it's literally just how mature you are, and it should be judged on the adult, because obviously a child should not own a PlayStation. It's an adult's PlayStation, and they need to focus and not have you unsupervised in a room in the dark with a TV screen just screaming at strangers.
Yeah.
They need to be present, even if they hate it. I think we as gamers would say, like, yeah, I'd play games with my kid. I would be around. And you can shape and mold them. And it's just being supervised and seeing how they are.
Yeah. And the easiest way to just quantify how, like, at what level your personality or your person is through age.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how the ESRB does it, who rates the games. 17 and up is mature. And that's how really the world does it. 18, you're ready to vote, stuff like that. So is there, like, when you're 17 and up on a mature game, is that good? Is that the age appropriate to be talking in those parties? When you're E10, is that good?
It's oneself's own mature level.
That's
You
that's
could be
tricky.
Yeah,
19
I mean, no
and
matter
have
what
no
game
level.
you play, people of all ages are going to be playing that game, regardless of the rating.
Yeah. I agree.
So, who figures this out then? Is it up to the parents? It has to be.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think
There's
it's
no
just
doubt
a
about
matter
it.
of. I think it's a matter of
parents
parenting.
try not to have that much responsibility. They're like, well, my kid plays violent video games. Well, you bought them that game. You let them on your phone.
Well, it's also like some like parents want to be like the cool parents who want to be like best friends with their kids, when realistically they're supposed to be like a figure of how to grow up. So I feel like when they buy these mature games, like they're acting more of like a friend than a parent. Like, aha, bro, yeah, you see how I just bought you that? But realistically, they should just be a parent and tell them, hey, you're not ready for this yet. You haven't matured yet. Let's take a step back.
And that's sad. If you're a parent and you fall into peer pressure from your own child, you need to reevaluate yourself and think.
Does the parent know in some cases that this is the case, like that this is what happens with this game? Like,
no,
I mean,
they're
sure,
ignorant.
like they see the mature label, and do they know? Like, I mean, they could read like, oh, it'll say graphic, violence, blood, whatever. Or just some parents, they just don't. They don't.
Yeah, I feel like this generation of parents, it's just not all of them are really, they're not on the same level of understanding what's actually happening in these games. But I feel like maybe the next generation definitely will understand.
Yeah,
because there are. Oh, sorry, Batavia, go ahead.
No. I was about to ask and turn the conversation in a new direction. So.
Oh, okay. So before that, like there are some games then, like Fortnite. I don't know what's Fortnite rated.
It's
Is it
rated T, I believe.
It's rated T. Okay,
That was
so
about to, yeah.
when you're 13, then you can play that game, and you can
Yes.
interact with anybody playing that game. And when a parent sees that, they're like, okay, it's just a stupid game where you're building stuff.
Right. They see the cartoony graphics and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a kid's game.
Yeah, but there's violence in that game.
Yeah.
So
But
that was kind of where I was going to take the conversation. It's because humans are very competitive in nature.
Okay.
And just because a game is rated T does not mean it's a safe environment for people, because you're still going to have people that are going to be really aggressive and probably still swear and say these things just because of the competitive nature.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's inherently true. And it depends on, I think at any age, really, you're competitive.
Right.
yeah, 100%.
So from the moment you pick up that controller and you see that, hey, I'm in a lobby with 99 other people, and if I defeat them all, I'm the champion, and I'm above one, like a 99 other people. I'm number one across those people. I mean, it's a competition inherently.
Mm-hmm.
And when the person with a controller in their hand, be that an adult or a kid, they say to themselves, "Okay, I want to win," and maybe sometimes that idea of winning clouds the etiquette that we were talking about, the online etiquette.
I think the sense of competition definitely brings out people sometimes. Not always, but sometimes you will find those people that are going to be really aggressive.
I think in most cases, though, that's what happens, because when you're winning in a game, I don't think you're really, or maybe there are some cases where you're just raging that your team is not doing as well as you are, maybe.
Yeah.
Are doing as well as you think they should.
Or yeah.
There's definitely.
If you're losing, it's really clear.
Oh yeah. Well, plus to it's also in competitive games, you get ranks based on like your skill level.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in the middle, like let's say like a gold player is like in the middle, and you're on a whole team full of golds, and they're not performing as well as you think they should. Well, it's because based on their rank, and there's a bunch of other factors that come into it.
Yeah. And now let's take this scenario. If I put let's put this out there. There's the same gamer, average gamer, and they're playing one game. Let's say they're playing a competitive online first-person shooter game, and then the other game is just some random single-player game. And they come to a point in that game, and in both games, where they're losing. They lose at something. Either they lose the match in the first-person shooter multiplayer game, or they're losing at whatever level they are in the single-player game.
Yeah.
What's the difference in their rage, right? Because if you're raging with other people, I feel like that person would be getting mad to a higher degree and quicker than when you're by yourself.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It would show itself differently. What do you guys think about that? Is it when you're introduced with other people? Is that the issue?
Yeah, because I feel like when you're introduced, sorry, but I feel like when you're introduced to people, it's not more of a, because when you play a single player game, it's kind of like, I wouldn't necessarily say all on you, but that's basically what it is, because you're by yourself, like playing this game. But in a multiplayer game, no one person is just going to say, oh yeah, my bad, or that's fault. They like to share the blame, and then they start accusing, because no one ever wants to admit that they're wrong. It's just, basic human ethics. They just don't want to admit that they're wrong.
So when you're losing at that single player game, you're like, it's on me, whatever.
It's like, oh, I accidentally jumped off something that I wasn't supposed to. But if it's a multiplayer game, then you can get on that microphone and just start yelling at your team and sharing the blame, when realistically it could have been your fault to begin with.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't anybody help me? I was down, stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. But they just share the blame for their own misdeeds.
Yeah. That's true. I can see that. And it's inherently at the point where you're placed in a societal or a social situation.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%.
So now, before we move on, I just wanted to jump back on the point that EJ was mentioning, being a female in gaming, and how that plays a role in the society of gaming. And I know you mentioned your perspective a little bit. being kind of scared to introduce, your voice in a, very male-dominated society. Do you think that's changing now? If I can get your opinion on that.
I would hope it's changing, but females are still being very sexualized in gaming. Instead of now, it's harassment, it's a sexualization, it's
Mm-hmm.
a bombarding of questions. It's, well, you're a girl, so you must not be good, or you're a girl, so you must be a nerd. So it's definitely, girls can game. It's just still very much prideful for men to see girls gaming. It's like
And
they
that's the
have
issue. They have too much
I
pride.
a little bit. Some people just don't want to expand or let other people enjoy a game that's meant to be shared.
Yeah.
It can be very uncomfortable, off-putting, and maybe like just turn you away from gaming. I know for a long time I stopped. I just turned off my PlayStation, didn't turn it back
Yeah.
on. I didn't have my PS Plus. I just did not want to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. It's a game. Everyone should
Yeah.
have a right to
Exactly.
play a game.
And for all the people that don't know what PS Plus is, PlayStation Plus, it's the ability you buy into it and you get the ability to play online. So
Subscription
not
service.
it's a yeah. Thank you. So by not paying for that service, you just withhold all online capabilities.
Yeah, and free games and
Yeah.
what else is there? There's
So
just the ability to become part of the community.
yeah, and you just say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this, and it's probably those same people that are just toxic to everyone. Or is
Of
there some
course.
sort of hidden thing? Because when it comes down to it, I was reading up on the history of gaming, and there was initially it was just everybody was able to play this game, but then when the supermarkets started to create toy aisles, they made boy toys and girl toys, and game developers like Nintendo decided to put their gaming consoles into the boy side, and I guess since then it's just grown as like this male dominate or only boys can play games.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very true. But what I saw is that the idea would be just you can really play a game as long as you had brothers or someone in your life who did it. It'd be
Yeah.
really strange for a girl who had no introduction to play a game.
That's true. Yeah, I see the same thing for my sister. Like if she'll pick up a controller, even they'll say, "Oh, what are you doing? That's a boy thing." Go play with your dolls or something. And
yeah,
what
it's
is
only when guys are doing it.
exactly? Yeah. So, do you think now, like with the changes that are being in our society now, just in the real world, where people are getting more diverse opinions and more equality and more exposure, do you think that's translating into gaming, into the people that play games and the people that I think in the people that make games, yeah, it is being shown in their introduction of new and very diverse, like a cast of character. But do you think of the people that are playing games, are they becoming a little bit more accepting?
Those who play the games, some yes. Those who don't have a problem with sharing the atmosphere in the community. But obviously, there's always going to be hecklers. There's always going to be people who just want to do it for the troll, for the meme, and just to have that feeling of superiority.
Yeah. So it's just the people that just don't have a very good personality about them anyway, that are just gonna
Yeah,
hold on to that.
the people who just want to still be mean to girls will still be mean to girls. But
Yeah.
behind closed doors, they will ogle at Pokemon or just other girls who game.
Yeah.
But I don't think those gamer girls put a good image out there either. It's
You think that's an
just,
issue?
I would think that over sexualizing yourself, wow, like there's nothing wrong with being like yourself and gaming. But I think when you bank off of it and put yourself in a position where you get paid to have guys look at you, predominantly guys look at you, you're not making any justice for yourself. You're just going with it, you know.
Yeah, and that's
And it's
that inherently is a catch-22 because you can say that like what you just said, or you can say what these women are being what they want to be, and you can't say anything about that. So
but is it?
where's the cutting line between that?
Is
Where's
it
the line
if
in the
they
sand?
said it if they said it themselves that this is what I want to do because I love showing off my cleavage and playing Minecraft, then that's great, and you do that, and that's just showing that you can do that, but other girls don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you cannot. I think that's great. Like, go do that. But if she's only doing it because she wants the game and she knows the only way to get views is to show cleavage, then that's an issue.
Okay. Yeah. I think
should we move on?
Yeah, I think now after that, good introduction with Minecraft is going to be a good segue into our next topic, Minecraft and how to grow a game. So, who wants to cover like the history, just a very brief history of
Notch, God.
That's
all.
Angel, you want to start us off?
Of course.
Yeah, like what was Minecraft and what is Minecraft?
Let me tell you where it all started, brother.
Notch.
Yes.
Back in the
yes.
I'll tell you where I began. I think around 2011, 2012.
11.
About there.
Came out, yeah, about there. Like on a website, they had their own website. I think it was Minecraft.net. And you can play like this a lot smaller version than it is now. Version of Minecraft. Everything was a lot brighter. It was pretty ugly. There was probably like 6 blocks in the whole game.
Pretty ugly.
And then as time went on, of course, more blocks were added. Multiplayer was added. You can play with your friends. You can build together. Worlds were expanded. And then fast forward, how many years?
8, 9 7.
I'm saying 7, 8 years.
They sold it. Then it became a bigger. Notch had sold it,
what year was that?
I would think 2015.
Yeah, they sold to Microsoft.
Isn't there another company on it?
Yeah, Microsoft, right?
Is it
Microsoft?
Mojang.
Mojang
sold it.
Mojang.
And then Microsoft bought Mojang.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notch had sold again, and then it had avid advertisements and like displayed more. And then YouTube became more popular with its gamers.
Yeah.
The Minecraft
it dominated YouTube for a while.
When C Nanners dropped that tutorial on how to play Minecraft.
Yes.
You're crazy. Sky does Minecraft.
He was the second coming.
Now y'all bring back
Jerome TSF.
Ooh.
Jerome.
Now she's really
what is
it?
Gritty. Ant Venom.
Oh man.
If you can craft, you can mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just use a sword, you decide.
As you can see, there's a very large history of the Minecraft.
There is. And a lot of people that have played the game and just crafted a lot of cool, fun things. Okay, who wants to cover what is Minecraft? For those that don't know.
Angel, I think we should just play
Minecraft is just the game
Angel, go full send, bro.
Oh man, I'm about to go crazy. Minecraft is just
the ins and outs. This is going to be a full
random
2-hour podcast of just Minecraft.
Exactly. You load up the game Minecraft, start a new world, you name it, do whatever you want with it. You jump in, it's just a blank canvas. You can have it be just nothing, or you can just have lots of environments around you. And the game kind of just sends you off and it's like, just go survive, go build, do what you want. And it's kind of just up to the player to decide what they want to do. They can go and try and fight dragons, kill a bunch of enemies underground in these caves, or you can just go build houses, build your own towns. Just do anything you want, really. There's no limitations of what can be done in Minecraft.
But that's now. Imagine how it was before, and just there was no end. There was going to the Nether was your goal.
That was basically your end.
Yeah, before that,
going
build to give an idea for how crazy things have gotten. Before it was just a survival. It was like a survival tycoon, but there's mechanics in the game that you can use to build stuff like redstone, which is something that's like electricity, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gotten to the point now where you can build like a working FaceTime in Minecraft, and it would update in real time.
And that's
Yeah,
the
Crazy.
that's how crazy it's gotten.
That's crazy.
These editions were created after Mojang was
Took
bought
over.
as well. They
I think
weren't
so.
things that existed. Like the innovation came when they saw that they could really make bank off of this
Mhm.
concept.
Yeah. So that's after Mojang bought Notch and the
I
IP
think
from
so.
Notch initially. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
for background, Notch is a Swedish game designer who just
Oh.
wanted to have fun. Notch is
Yeah.
Swedish.
Notch just the one guy.
Notch is one man.
Oh,
One
it's just
human.
one guy. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought it was
Notch is just one guy.
I thought it was a small like indie studio.
No.
Notch is just one guy.
He was
Oh.
one man who
A
decided, like,
super sweet hat.
let me put
adorable
things
over here.
together and just let's see what I can do. Let's see what I can build. Here's
Yeah.
this basic program concept, and it's blown off from there. Like, I don't think he even got royalties because he didn't even think his game was gonna make it.
Yeah, and that's
Wow.
what's kind of like kind of funny, but it's also kind of like sad because he thought like it wouldn't take off, and then once like other companies started jumping in, like Mojang and then Microsoft making their own like player models and skins, and then Sony getting their own, like with the whole thing happening, like and how big it got. It's kind of funny. It's kind of sad to see how how far
Yeah.
it's gone.
Like how it's
But he's
exploded.
still super rich.
Still
Notch is,
super
of
rich.
course,
Can
super
confirm.
rich.
Still can confirm.
So, in terms of Minecraft, what's the draw of the game now? I mean, back then it
Once
was just
again.
like the novelty of building things, but now there's a lot of stuff to do.
I think for
No.
me, it's nostalgia.
There's a
Nostalgia?
couple. So, like in the game, there's a couple different bosses you can fight that take a lot of time to get to.
Hmm.
Like it's something to work toward.
Yeah,
It's
and you're
And-
building stuff all the time.
That's true.
It
You
shows
start-
like your progression.
like
Yeah.
you start from nothing and you work your way there to pretty much being able to take on these big threats. And
It's like life
Part-
part two.
Like part
I
two.
don't know. It's very intense. I know that, like,
It means
if you work hard to get to
Oh,
the
yeah,
levels
definitely.
you have, I
it
know
means a
Plus,
lot
you
to
can
get.
do it
some
with
people.
friends.
I
Yeah.
think
Do it with
it's
Like,
friends.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I don't know. You can still have rage with your own friends. I know I've killed Angel in Minecraft and Jose in Minecraft, and
Jose has
they
definitely
were
fallen into a lot of lava pits in our time.
they're
Let's
not
not
very
talk about
fond of
that.
it. I think it's a funny haha, and they're like, "I'm gonna
It's
kick
awful.
you from the party."
You
I'm
might,
like,
you might want to
no.
watch
It's not a
that
game.
player later.
Something that adds to that experience is there's a setting called hardcore where it's basically you have
Mhm.
one life and you can't die. And recently there was the streamer who
I heard about
had 5 years total in hardcore Minecraft, and he'd been
5
playing it for
years.
5
Yeah.
years, and he's
that.
been
5 straight up
building
years, because once you die,
this
you're like
whole
dead,
world.
dude.
And he died recently. And once you die, you're not allowed back into your hardcore.
Oh my goodness, I would
So
cry.
after 5 years, he
That gives me
died, and then
anxiety
it
just
went.
hearing that.
Yeah,
It kind of like
and it
My
went
heart
crazy on
just
Reddit too.
went.
it
went
kind of
on-
blew
went
up in the
crazy.
gaming world because you never realized
Finally.
that a game
How
like
did
that
he-
could have
how did
such
he
a
die, too?
gravitational pull towards some people.
I saw he was killed
He
by a
fell in
spider, but
lava.
it's probably a bunch of stuff.
No, because the screenshot was just like he wasn't like in lava. I think he like either fell off a cliff or got shot with an arrow. One of the two.
Wow.
I would like to think that he fell in lava, and it was
That's the
something
real
that
end.
he can't even get anyone. He can't even say he got mad at anyone.
Yeah,
Wow.
but still, like
Like I
for
said,
5
though,
years just to have that world and then end it. That's it. It's
Like
game
I
over,
said,
man.
though, it kind of blew up because you didn't realize that it could have such a gravitational pull
Yeah.
that someone could devote, like, obviously not 5 consecutive years, like just sitting down playing Minecraft 24/7, but
I mean, you
to be
could.
engrossed in this world for 5 years and to lose it all. And it kind of really speaks that Minecraft stood the testament of time. If news like that is able to blow up now.
Yeah. A person
But-
playing for 5 years this game and playing throughout those updates since those 5 years
Yeah.
have gone on.
That's true. Like going to the end, and I was surprised when I saw that he didn't like die finding the Ender Dragon, because that's just a mission in itself.
Yeah. The Ender Dragon, by the
Wow.
way, for people that don't know, is like the end
It's
boss,
one,
and
it's one of the bosses.
We're in the end game now.
we're in the end game now.
It's the end game.
No,
I think it's also did it only stand the test of time because it was improved? Would we be playing it if Notch still owned the game and it was just 6 blocks?
I feel like
Not-
it
would.
would have to have been picked up by somebody. There's no way, because games nowadays are just getting picked up by somebody who is curious about it.
So you think it would have been inevitable that Notch would have sold the game to somebody, if not
Yeah,
Mojang,
probably.
to another developer?
Yeah, I probably think so, because if you think about it, if he was just sitting on that IP like Minecraft that Angel was saying for like all these years, and it was like just a bunch of like ugly textures and blocks, someone who actually probably wanted to see this game come alive,
Yeah.
if they probably would have just like Notch probably would have sold it to whoever, and then it probably would have either become Minecraft or at least something a little larger. So I feel like, yeah, that's probably the case.
Yeah.
So before we go back to the central question, I was just going to touch on one more thing that can maybe translate. Is that there's kind of been like a resurgence of Minecraft lately.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
I don't really know what it is, but another thing that adds to that is there's in Minecraft you can get texture packs which change the way everything looks in the world.
You mean the coolest texture packs?
There's this, I don't know if it's a texture pack or a mod for PC that's out right now, but it's like a super realism
Yeah.
text pack. Oh yeah, Angel knows what I'm talking about, but it's like crazy.
Super
changes-
realism?
I haven't seen this. Is
Super
it?
realism.
it actually makes the grass look like actual grass. It's waving
That's
And like
around. The ocean has
scary.
actual
it
waves.
zooms in on the wood,
That's actually
and
kinda
it's
crazy.
just like super detailed and everything.
There's even a VR version of it where it's everything's super realistic.
There's a VR version of that?
It's pretty great.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
I hope so.
that's a mod to the game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
Would
like
you like
officially
to-
like licensed.
Maybe Angel or Babe, you guys want to explain what mods are when they're used like on PC?
Angel.
For people that don't know what a
Yeah,
So
mod is.
basically, mods are just an added enhancement to the game. So something that's not already in the game, but someone outside of the game, or I guess the developer could make their own mods. That's
It's-
just like kind of like a
Those are
DLC or add-on
Yeah.
type of way.
It's an
It adds to the
expansion
experience.
it's an expansion made by someone who doesn't, own the game and
Work.
make content for the game.
Right, like one of the mods I used to have was being able to carry like 2 items with both your hands before it was actually added later on. So I would have 2
Whoa.
swords instead of just having
Yeah,
one.
that's actually a good point too, because other mods that are created by like the fans, they can be, and the developers can just kind of like take it and absorb it and say, hey, can we use this and add it in our game? Like Angel was saying, with using 2 hands, like that hasn't really been done before. And now you can put a shield or like a map or something. It's even in like other games too, like Left 4 Dead 2, which is a zombie horde game. There was someone who took a whole level and like did it themselves. They like touched up a whole level and everything, and then Valve contacted them and said, "Hey, can we use this?" And then they took it, and then they basically made it into their own level, and they sold it off as DLC.
Yeah. And it shows that when a developer pays attention to their community, they can grow a game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So part of
And-
the growing the game question that we should talk
Is the
about
community.
is the community. Because one example of this I can think of is Super Mario Maker, where
Oh yes.
they
And the
give
cool one.
people the tools to make their own levels. And it kind of shows that, like I saw a video essay talking about how it shows if people can be good game designers or not.
Yeah.
But
Like having all those tools accessible to the player is part of what makes them great, I think.
It's kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm. In terms of Minecraft, though, I think you have all the. I mean, you have if you go into like creative mode where you can have
Oh, they give you everything.
they give you everything, but they don't give you. Do they give you any creative tools to change the game? I mean, unless you're doing them, like you're a person
I don't
making
think so, no.
modifications of the game.
Yeah, when you add
No,
mods
no.
on the PC version, you can like World Edit, where you can just flatten an
But on the
entire
console
island in
version, I
like
don't
2
think so.
seconds. Yeah, but on the
Fair
console
enough.
versions, yeah.
Because that's what I think that Mojang does well. They're just paying attention to what the people are saying about the game versus like watching what people are. Like, I mean, they're watching what people are doing, but watching people change it.
Oh yeah.
In like terms of what they give, like the tools that they give them. I think, you know what I'm trying to say, where
Yeah.
they don't have any developer tools in Minecraft, but when they see people use their own tools to change it, they're like, oh, you know what, this is a very cool idea. People want this, and let's change it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah. And another thing is that when you pay attention to your community, you're also paying attention to the outside world and like the pop culture, which I think they really do well with what Bathabi was mentioning in terms of the texture packs and skin packs, and like they're all the like the popular movies have a texture pack associated with them, so it generates.
Incredibles one.
Yeah,
Stranger Things.
the Stranger
The
Things stuff.
Incredibles skin pack is the best movie skin pack. Don't even at me.
Yeah, so like and other games too, other games that have like that's how they maintain the hype around the game, where you introduce like some different skins to the game based on your favorite characters from other games, and you're like, oh, I'm playing as Mr. Incredible in Minecraft, in my Minecraft world, making my own little community. And that's another very cool thing that Mojang is pushing, just kind of just being super creative in how they create a world around their player.
Yeah.
I think it's also showing how they're willing to adapt. A lot of developers could be very prideful, and they're saying, well, this is how we did it, and this is what's working, and, it could kill a game. It can kill a whole series. It could just like stop it from evolving.
Yeah.
But seeing how they're willing to please their audience and say, you know what? Yes, you want it. You got it. We're making this a thing.
Well, that can be risky at the same time, because I feel like another game that we're going to be talking about soon, like Fortnite, does that as well, where they listen to the community over and over again. But then it just somehow gets worse, where they add weapons that should not be back in the game. They just add game modes that just don't work, but the people online said they wanted it. But when they finally get it, they don't want it.
Like the end game one?
No, that was great. Shut up.
Is that them being too pleasing, or them
Too
just
lenient.
not filtering out and keeping standards that they set? I think agreeing with your community.
Please. Yeah, they're just
trying to please the community, trying to be hip.
I think the majority is actually the minority.
I think it's them not setting standards for themselves either.
Yeah.
Just because you want it, okay, sure, you can have something like it, but it should be up to the standards.
That's
it should
true.
not just be slap it in a program, ones and zeros. If then this. All right, let's put it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the people want it. Put it in the game. Put it in the game.
Quickly.
Yeah.
No, it needs to be developed. It needs to be trialed. It needs to be thought about.
Yeah,
they're a very on-trend thing, though.
That's an inherent issue, because there has to be a standard to whatever game that you make, because then you lose the identity of the game, because you go to Minecraft to build stuff and to mine stuff, and if they say if somebody says in the community, oh, I'm too lazy to mine stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, now you could just get stuff instantly, you touch it and then you have it, like the game's lost.
Exactly.
Yeah, the main core is lost.
Yeah. So I think that's a good segue into, I mean, we have a little bit to do before we get to the state of Fortnite. We have our Mortal Kombat 11 review.
Yes.
Wombat.
Mortal Wombat.
So,
dun.
Test your might.
Nice.
Mortal Kombat came out. I'll let you guys. How about Bat? You start us off. Mortal Kombat. When did it come out? What's the game? Give us a little background and then get into the review.
Excellent. So Mortal Kombat 11 is the latest one in the, and I completely forget when it came out. So somebody save me. But
90s or 80s, I don't remember.
1992.
1992. Angel had that one ready. So
I kind of meant like Mortal Kombat 11. When did that come out? But okay.
April 23rd.
If you want to go over the whole series of Mortal Kombat,
we can totally do it. But Mortal Kombat 11 is the latest one in the series. It comes from a line of games, as Angel stated, from 1992 under the same name. And how does this one basically hold up? Personally, for me, this game is fantastic. The net code, which basically is how well the punches connect to the other fighters and everything like that, I feel that the net code is fantastic. A little bit though. In online, I have experienced a little bit of lag or the game slowing down a little bit. But besides that, I
Don't blame
feel
your
like
net for that one.
you totally could. But I feel that the netcode is fantastic. The story mode is one of the best that I've seen so far in Mortal Kombat games. Basically, they've mixed Mortal Kombat 2 and the current timeline together. And returning characters are back. And personally, this game is fantastic. And I'm gonna throw it over to one of you guys if you want to continue on.
I think we should preface before we go any further that this is a very mature and gory
definitely.
game. It's a
Definitely.
game that's been surrounded with controversy, it seems, every single time it releases.
People die.
People definitely do die.
Because they get really gory and it gets really kind of like sadistic in a way. And it always raises the question every time it comes out, is gaming going too far with violence in their games?
I mean, if people are buying it, that shows that gaming really isn't going that far.
Right. But it's very gory. Anyway, me personally, I'm not much of a fighting games player, but I did pick up this one. And I can I can give kind of that angle since I've never really played fighting games like that. And it's a very good game and it's very user friendly. They offer lots of info to you. They offer many tutorials to help you get into the game. And as long as, like me, like we've all played Mortal Kombat together, and like Angel and them have helped raise me up in a way to be good at the game.
My child.
So inherently, what is this game? It's a fighting game. What is offered in this game? Is there multiplayer? Is there a single player? I mean, you mentioned a single player, but what's it about?
Gotcha, I can give you all the details on that. So this year, they decided there's a story mode. That's one of them. And every year they add these things called towers, where basically, well, they kind of switched up this year. So every character has their own tower. You play through it. It's kind of like a mini story mode in a way, where once you beat the tower, you get their own like mini ending of
and it's just a series of fights, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. You just do about like 10 fights with the same character, and at the end, get like a little boss fight, and then you learn their story. That's one thing you can do. A lot of single player content, especially for a fighting game, which I know a lot of people do enjoy, because not everybody is a competitive player. Like Buffet says, he doesn't really play fighting games too much.
Yeah.
So this game actually offers a lot for someone like him.
Definitely.
Or me, on the other hand, I like to play online, play against people, get upset, and just fight people for fun, you know?
No.
This game definitely does offer kind of like the best of both worlds for people who are new to the game and people who are coming back every year or every couple years.
And plus, this game does also give you a chance to customize your characters too.
It's just like the other fighting game they made, Injustice, I believe.
Yeah, Injustice 2, yes.
Oh, Capcom.
It's basically superhero Mortal Kombat for teenagers.
Yeah, basically.
So you mentioned for teenagers. Why is it so gory? Why does it challenge people's perspective about gaming getting to violence? Why does it do that every time?
Because I feel like go ahead.
The fatalities.
The fatalities are big up there.
Going to the imagination of a twisted way of fighting. The concept is going to the Mortal Kombat, going to this amazing tournament where amazing fighters go and fight and test their might. And although it rhymed, it's definitely not a cheery event.
Fight and test your might.
It's something that you go and you can risk your life about. There are people who are passionate, and I think it's the idea that people who go there will die, and the way they die will be in glorious death.
Passions.
Or it's sadistic, but it's just, it's a video game. You're not gonna go out to your friend and be like, "Hey, let me just rip your spine out."
Hey, get over here.
You get over here.
Get over here and throw a spear at him.
You're not
people's
gonna
problem with this game is just like every time it comes out, it looks more and more real. Like this year is definitely one of the most realistic looking ones.
Yeah, especially when the body comes apart, like the anatomy is exactly where everything is, or where everything should be in the body. So that's even more terrifying. It's like, did everyone
people just can't handle that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, did everyone there take like an anatomy class before starting MK11, or
did you pass your grades? I had my fondest, earliest memory of gamings would be turning on my PS2 and loading up the Mortal Kombat game
Armageddon.
and just being terrified of not even just the game, just the intro to the game. The going down the corridor quickly and having the dragon at the door, and it just being a scary thing, but I was still drawn to it. At like 7 years old, I was drawn to the game. Even though they sexualized women, even though it was pretty intense clothing,
Mhm.
They
it
definitely
was
did a
just
lot better this year about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
it didn't
Totally.
have the nudity that it usually does, and that was weird as someone who's been playing the game since like
Yeah.
I before even turning 10. So
So,
it's just great.
so do you think that this game, this version of Mortal Kombat 11, deserves that 11 name? Has it revolutionized, like the whole game, or is it more of like an evolutionary, just a step up from what Mortal Kombat 10 was?
I feel like it's definitely a step up, only because this game it's not like the fast paced combat from Mortal Kombat X. It's more slow. It's more slow, so it's a little more tactical. So you know how to like plan out like a certain combo, or you know how to do X, Y, and Z. Because they did take out the dash button, which just allowed you in Mortal Kombat X just to run like a quarterback in an NFL game, like
Yeah.
straight halfway through the court, or
That
halfway
was
excuse me,
scary.
Is
which
it
was scary. Yeah,
is it Mortal Kombat X or is it 10?
same
It would
thing.
be
X
10,
Oh,
it's the
same
but
same
thing.
thing.
Okay, yeah,
They're just using
X
Roman
does
numerals for
mean 10.
funsies.
Right.
yeah. Okay. I don't know if they
But
were
and
just
then
sticking with the X, like like iPhone.
X.
iPhone 10.
X.
It just sounds cool.
It just sounds
It
cool.
sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scorpions on the cover, like hey.
Yeah.
But
Hey, girl.
but the game is a little slower, which is a very very nice and kind of like a more welcome change for me.
It's definitely an improvement from last year. Because last year, if you weren't good at the game, then you
You're
definitely
done.
were just not winning any games.
You're definitely not having a
And
good time.
see, I play for fun. I don't get upset. I just want to play because I want to see what everything is, how they did
Mhm.
it, what's like the graphics. And Angel knows this. Everyone I play with, they know I'm okay at the game. I'm not gonna be super competitive. I'm not
I haven't
gonna
seen
like.
her win yet.
I don't play to win.
Oh no.
I don't play
Have I
to
beat you?
win.
She's not lying.
I don't play to win. I have fun. I go in there and I'm like, whoa, they have this now. They never had that, and
Well,
it's
triangles to
just
punch.
honestly. And I'm like, just when did this guy teleport? How did this happen? It's just the evolution of the game from having nothing like tactical and just being fast paced and skimpy clothing to just you need strategy and you need to figure out how to master your character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even the voice actors too. Like some of them like really sell their characters, and others. I was showing Pavi Poo with Sonya Blade, who's voiced by Ronda Rousey. Who's voiced by Ronda Rousey. She doesn't do a bad job, but
It's just not
Sounds like a robot.
it's just not. Yeah, it's like she just read it off the script. Like, are you gonna fight us or not? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like very monochromatic, like very
But
like
Ronda
robot-esque.
Rousey's not an actress.
Yeah, it's one of
She's
her
a
first times
fighter.
doing this. They can't
Yeah,
really
it's one of
blame
her first times. Yeah, you
Her
get
first
She's
time
a-
was
it's like her
She-
first time in the ring.
She
Incredible
has
three.
the most experience
her. Oh
and
yeah,
probably would be able to go into a Mortal Kombat, but she just
Yeah.
doesn't have the voice acting.
Yeah.
yeah. It definitely doesn't ruin the game though. It's just a small.
No,
little-
she's not. Yeah, it's like a very small like nitpick thing.
Yeah.
The character's overpowered.
So in terms of
Her
the characters,
character is
S tier?
overpowered.
Sonya is in the S tier.
S tier.
She is S tiered. It has been confirmed.
That means the best.
so
It's not
in
Shadow
terms,
Realm.
in terms of those characters, like the S tiers and stuff like that, how have they changed the characters, and do they have any abilities, anything? Because I know they have combos and stuff, but have they changed the characters since Mortal
A
Kombat
lot of
X? Or
Well, now
a
you
lot
can
of
play your way.
characters. A lot of characters feel like they have a lot of original. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, Jax is one of the characters. He's very up close and personal. Always, like, every character has a specific role. And the tutorials will teach you this. Like some characters are better at zoning, which is like keeping the distance between people, because sometimes they excel at long ranges. And then like for Jax, he has very powerful punches because he can heat up his arms because they're metal and do a lot more damage. So he always likes to get up close and personal. And then there are characters like
so like Scarlet's like a complete opposite of him, where she tries to go as far away as possible. She's always hitting you from a distance with her special attacks. And then they added a new character, I believe Garrus, where he just completely changes the game. He has an ability where he can change the time in the game. Say there's 60 seconds left in the game, he can change it to maybe like 30 seconds. Just as an ability,
which is actually crazy.
I think they did a good job saving the integrity of the characters while adding on to them.
Exactly. Every character feels like they used to, but they always had improved in a way.
It's not like they took away Scorpion's chain or they took away Liu Kang's bicycle kicks or Kung Lao's.
No, Liu Kang, you got it.
No, Kung Lao's hat. They didn't take the serrades off. They just enhanced it. It's like a wine, you know. It gets better over time, and you look forward to it each time. And as a consumer, you can see when they didn't put the effort in. As a consumer, you can see and you feel like you have the right to say they did a crappy job or they did a better job or they need to patch this.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat has been out for a very long time now, and people have grown attached to these characters. So maintaining the integrity or maintaining the nostalgia of those characters too is important. And that's the issue when you're trying to revolutionize and change the game too. It's how do you do that when you also have to keep the old fans happy, but also make changes for the more modern gaming world that we're in now?
I know what they do is they like to add and take out characters. Like for Mortal Kombat X, like there was a character named Melina, and they killed her off in the story, and then they brought back a couple more characters. No, they didn't bring her back.
I loved Melina, but
you're the only one.
I know Melina.
I feel like the board don't talk to me.
As a girl playing Mortal Kombat, I was only drawn to the girl characters. You don't see me saying Scorpion. It's Liu Kang, Kung Lao, of course Katana, but I like Pink. Melina was out there. Pink is nice.
Well, I think one of the characters she can, I think, turn into like she has like Melina's abilities. I think I don't know. Does Jade have Melina's abilities? Probably. That's beyond the point.
So
yeah.
But part of the before we move on, part of the originality to characters was giving originality to old characters. Like, I like I said, I haven't played a Mortal Kombat game, but I did watch cutscenes because I was engrossed in the story. I like the story. And in the past games, like the females, like Katana, Jade, Melina, and them were just kind of copies of the ninjas, like Sub-Zero and them. And in this game, they have a lot more like personality and very much like their own character. Like Cassie Cage was introduced in Mortal Kombat 10, and I don't really know what she was doing there, to be honest.
She's and like cool. As a person who's followed the franchise, I saw Cassie and I instantly knew, oh my god, this is their spawn, and I was just so excited to see.
You can't tell me Takeda doesn't look cool.
Takeda?
But part of that was like in this game, Cassie feels like her own person instead of just like a clone of Johnny and Sonya.
Yeah, even Jackie too, who is the daughter of Jax.
They've made them their own characters and value them for what they are.
And like Jade isn't just a copy of Katana; she has a bow staff and is good at long range, which is my main, by the way. Angel gets mad at it.
Okay. That's honestly something I've noticed as one who only would play the girl characters, is that I would pick either one of those two and be like, what am I feeling? Pink or green or blue? It doesn't make a difference. They're the same, just different colors. And over time, it became a difference. You can tell how they changed them and just made them their own in their sense and in the story.
Give the characters more love and work.
Time. Yeah.
And time, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely works.
So we've got do you think that Mortal Kombat 11 has revolutionized the formula of Mortal Kombat, or overall is it just a step up from what it used to be? I think what we're going to do is everybody will just go down the line, give a 1-sentence sort of summary of your review, and then give us out of 5 Poppy Peppers.
Oh,
How
Poppy
fire!
Yes. Poppy
How
peppers.
fire is this game?
spicy.
Is it
Spicy.
Is it not spicy? Is it mild, or is it burning hot?
This is out of my expertise, man. I don't know the evolution of Mortal Kombat.
This is my expertise, and I think
All right.
it's pretty.
Since it's not your expertise, you can go first.
Oh,
Give us your 1-sentence summary.
Not knowing to knowing the most, right?
Yeah.
as an introduction to the fighting game genre,
Yeah.
I think it's very
Because
strong.
it's also the review of the game too, so it's just like a
Right.
little brief review of your personal opinions about this game.
Like I've known about the characters because I've watched cutscenes for MK9 and MK10 and all of them, so I'm familiar with the characters. I just never bought the games because I was afraid of the skill gap. Because I used to play 2D fighting games, and the way it would work is if you're in a corner, you've pretty much lost, and that was the way it was for a while. But they've definitely changed that, and I'm really liking this game because they give you a lot to do. Like, there's never not a reason to log on in Mortal Kombat to get rewarded.
Yeah. So, out of 0 to 5 Poppy Peppers, 0 being not spicy at all, very... what's not spicy? It's mild?
Mild.
Not
Mild?
spicy would be bland.
Bland. Okay, bland. We'll say bland. 0 is bland. 2 to 3 is mild. 5 is burning hot. What is your...
What happened to fiery?
Fiery.
Same difference.
Same difference, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably as a beginner, I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 Poppy Peppers.
All right.
Good.
I object.
It's very good, but I haven't been in the fighting game genre that long. I don't really know what determines a good fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely Angel's level of experience because this is like the first 2D fighting game, which is pretty much what dominates like the fighters.
All right.
At.
Demon Days. What's your final summary and rating of Mortal Kombat 11?
I think it's very fiery.
Very fiery.
I think that it's, as someone who isn't that competitive, can really enjoy it. I mean, I think the fear skill gap is limited. It's definitely... I haven't played online. I don't know how they are with matching up people based on their rankings and their XP, but I still think it's a fiery game. I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited to see like what else happens and what else gets patched up.
How many Poppy Peppers?
How many Poppy Peppers?
I'd like to give it 5 peppers, please.
5 Poppy
That's
Peppers.
a full 5 out of 5.
That's fiery. That's
fiery, ladies and gents.
Yikes.
That's what we like to see.
I'd like.
That's what we like to hear in GameChat recording session.
As the kids say, that's very lit.
Oh.
It's fuego.
Yes.
It's fuego, my guy.
Fuego.
Jose's gonna come back and end our careers with the next topic. But anyway.
Oh yes.
I think Jose should go next.
I'm just
This
waiting.
is not Jose's expertise, but
He has played the game though, so I think he should give a review.
You have to give
he
your review.
should. He's played the whole story.
He's played the whole game. You played the whole story?
I have played the whole story. To start,
jump on the review.
I'm gonna give my rating first.
Okay.
And then explain.
Changing it up a little bit.
So I would say 4 out of 5 Poppy Peppers.
Oh,
okay.
Almost perfect.
Alright, so first of all, every time I play anyone talking right now, I get demolished, to say the least.
Hello.
Sorry.
Sorry.
This is not
Sorry, not
my
sorry.
game, but it is pretty fun. The story was pretty good. I like. I've never really played any other of the Mortal Kombats, but this one is pretty good. I like. I do really like it, and yeah, I think I enjoy playing it. Unlike any other fighting game I've ever played, I can actually sit there and play it.
Yeah.
And I see myself playing it. The only problem I have right now is my controller's a little broken. So,
Oh, he's putting on protections.
Protection
just
excuses.
throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
You've seen my
Isn't
controllers,
isn't
though.
isn't your D-pad broken?
It just
Yeah,
with the
my
review.
D-pad is broken.
So
See,
with
could
the
even
review,
get
the controller was broken, and it kind of hindered the. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
I
could
feel you.
even get bumped up. I feel like I'd play it a lot more if the D-pad did work. To be honest.
I know controller.
What a bias review.
What a bias.
No, I do really enjoy it though. Liu Kang is great. That's probably my main right
Oh god.
now. Yeah. But
No main
hopefully I can get on these people's level, and
Yeah.
I think I like it a little more if I can actually compete.
But nevertheless, 4 out of 5 Poppy Peppers. That's a pretty fire review.
Yeah, because I never really was interested in any other fighting game. I've played fighting games before, never really. I've played Mortal Kombat in the past, and they're okay. I play them here and there, but this one I actually really do like. I can see myself playing it.
Peter, give us your summary and your rating.
Yes. All right. So I would say that I'm gonna start with the rating first. I don't want to keep all y'all waiting. Let's start with the score. I'm gonna have to give this one a 5 out of 5 on the Poppy Pepper scale.
Whoa.
This game, I'm gonna have to give this a 5 out of 5 on the Poppy Pepper scale, only because I love Mortal Kombat. I've played Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11. So I've played the past. I've played the past 3. Like I said, the fighting is fantastic. The way to customize and add your own abilities to the fighters, giving you more choice and versatility to how you go up against another player's character. And another point is to jump in with friends and jump into like a one-on-one online fight or maybe a group fight altogether, and which is just fantastic that we can all just jump in there, have a great time. Jose might lose a couple of times, but it's okay because it's all a little bit of the fun.
More than a couple.
A lot. And yeah, this game is fantastic, and if there is a Mortal Kombat 12 coming, hopefully later on in the future, I am very optimistic to see what they do to the series. So that is a 5 out of 5 on the Poppy Pepper scale.
This one just came out.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying there's already been like talks like because of the ending of the main story, is there hopes for like a Mortal Kombat 12? That's why.
Yeah. He's just so excited and so hyped that he wants the next one.
I'm ready.
Already.
Exactly.
I think that's they need to always space it out very well.
Have we got everyone?
No, we still have Angel's review.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, it's okay.
Angel, give us your one sentence, or whichever way you want to give us your rating. You want to give us your sentence.
This is like, for the record, this is like the official rating because Angel is.
This is the official rating. I've played every single Mortal Kombat that has come out. Shaolin Monks, Deception, Armageddon. It may sound like Spanish to some of you guys, but these are real games.
No, Armageddon was on the PS2.
Unchained on the PSP. All the good stuff.
On the PSP was different.
Shaolin Monks was kind of fire.
It was different, exactly. So, I played all the Mortal Kombats. I know what's good, what's not good. We got some real stinkers in there, but this year, I think it was not a stinker.
No.
It was definitely a step up from the last one. Mortal Kombat X, real good game, but 11 somehow does it better. I am going to bring up something that no one else did, is that the microtransactions this year were a little unnecessary, in my opinion. They weren't game-changing, but it's just they always find a way. It's 2019.
It's not like a pay-to-win advantage.
Exactly. It's not exactly. It's just cosmetics, but it's just tough when you want to be one of those people who collect everything. That's what I try and do every year. This thing called the Crypt, where you unlock stuff, you go through there, but it's definitely more of a grind this year. But some can argue that it just gives you more of a reason to play the game. The story was good. Online multiplayer is good. Never have a problem when playing against people. Just everyone seems pretty balanced this year for the most part. You got your Gears.
Gearus.
Fine.
What you mean, Noob Saibot?
Nice. We don't talk about him. Story's great.
Noob is.
The
I
single
like
player
Noob is
action's
something.
great.
this game.
He's good. He's alright. Still won't talk about him though. It's okay.
I like Noob last game as like an introduction character, but now this game they've really made him.
Oh yeah. 'Cause all the characters have been, they all have their own stories from last year. They carry on. A lot of old characters like Frost, who's in one of the older Mortal Kombats. She's a returning character this year. It was nice to see her.
Yeah, like we reinvented.
It was very different.
Exactly.
Like she's
It was
not
nice
just
to
a
see the old
female.
characters.
Like she's not just the female Sub-Zero. She's like a new
Right.
character.
She's her own thing.
Exactly. Ooh, there you go. Okay. So like I was saying, the characters, all of them, I thought they were pretty good. Had their own character to them. Everyone wasn't just a plain, I'm going to fight you because I'm going to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's cool in their own sense in story mode. A lot of single player stuff for you non-competitive people, Favy, Jose, them. We can play online, have fun with each other. No one's getting too upset. It's a good time. So I would say I had to give this one a 5 out of 5 Poppy Peppers.
Whoa!
No matter what.
Whoa! Big
Just a
guy.
step above.
Score. And
Wow.
now because of guilty reasons, I'm moving it to a 5 just because.
No changing
Peer
of the
pressure
score.
moved you up to a
You
5.
can't
pressure
change your
move.
score now.
You can't change
But-
your score. It's already been in the Poppy
Man.
Pepper.
It's already rated as a Poppy Pepper. Our average for this Mortal Kombat 11, our official game chat review score is 4.5 out of 5 Poppy
yes.
Peppers for Mortal Kombat 11 out in
The
2019.
Poppy Poof seal of approval.
Poppy Poof seal of approval.
Yes.
Yes.
And with that, we will take a little short break here, and then we'll be back with the state of Fortnite and with some gaming news to close out the episode. Welcome back to our state of Fortnite. Just review, sort of catch up. What is going on with Fortnite? It's season 9 now. Very recently, season 9 dropped, and
Already.
we just want to yeah.
Crazy.
That's what it-
And we want to see how's the game progressed and how has it changed. We kind of hinted at that in the Minecraft section of the episode,
Yeah.
but I think for this one, I think Jose should take the lead and
Yeah.
and tell us what's happening with Fortnite and how's it gotten to season 9 and what's season 9 all about.
Well, a lot has happened with Fortnite. I didn't play it as much at season 8. I kind of cooled down
got a
with
girlfriend.
the Fortnite. Possibly. Maybe because of that, but Fortnite has made a lot of changes from season 2, which I started playing. Not a season 1 original, sorry, but season 2 I started playing, got the battle pass, and I've gotten every battle pass since. I have not bought season 9 battle pass yet though. I probably
big
will.
Did you lie?
To be honest.
Liar.
Call yourself a fan?
But from season 2 to season 9, you probably wouldn't even recognize it. The map is completely different.
Like
We've gone through a lot of changes. I mean, the first major change, that brought in Tilted and a lot of other places like Haunted Hills, a lot of points of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And up until now, where Tilted was destroyed, and you have Neo Tilted now, and you have all these new ways to get around, like I'm not sure what they call it, but it's like some kind of
They're like the tubes from
vacuum.
Futurama, where you just fly
Yeah,
around.
oh my goodness, the
yeah,
Futurama
and you
tubes,
just
like the
get in
teleporters.
these
The
tubes, and you just
Like tubes you
zoom
get sucked
around the
into
map.
and you fly around.
Yeah,
Futurama, like
yeah.
you become a male. It's like the mail room tubes.
I guess.
It's really, really different.
What about mnemonic tubes?
Yes.
And along with all those changes to the battle royale, because that is just a battle royale, and of course you have Save the World. I mean, Save the World does have changes and things like that, but that's not the reason. That's not the main reason people play Fortnite. Not a lot of people have Save the World compared to battle royale, but you also have creative, which everybody can play. and creative, you see a lot of people making their own creations, which is something I think that's kept it alive. Like I'll take Angel for example. He only gets on to play creative anymore. He gets on and does
I
the
like
little
Minecraft.
mini golf.
Plug your Nuketown map, bro.
Oh yeah, make sure you watch it. Swipe up.
Yeah, he had a
Nuketown map.
Swipe up.
Nuketown map.
Swipe up.
It was
Based
amazing. I
on
helped
Black
make.
Ops.
Did you?
I did.
Did you?
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, creative is another thing that's really kept it alive thus far. You know, aside from Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I think I mean, and they do these events also, like the Marshmallow event, which was a huge success. I think it had over 10 million concurrent players, which breaks any record.
Wow.
So
It's also the
New
first
Year's?
virtual concert.
The first
Yeah.
virtual concert.
Years.
So, which says
A
a lot
lot.
actually for the future.
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's declining and maybe, but I don't know. They still seem to be breaking records here. I mean, the
Yeah.
Marshmallow event was maybe I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, which is not
Yeah.
that.
And it's now an Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame, yeah, they had, they brought back that, not just Thanos this time, but all the Avengers. They had the Avengers skins, like the Star-Lord skin and the
Star-Lord.
Black Widow skin to the item shop, which also
Yeah.
helped. And I mean,
It's
got
kind
me
of
to
like
play a little bit.
what we were talking about with Mojang and Craft, kind of tapped into the pop culture. And it
Oh,
literally
yeah,
was in the
for
movie.
sure.
Like they were playing
Fortnite.
it in the movie.
Yeah, they played Fortnite in Avengers Endgame. Yeah, that scene was
Spoiler, dude. Come on, man.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. Sorry.
Come on
if
now.
you have-
Well, I think the official thing was lifted now. I think it was
Yeah,
that.
it's okay. Spoiler ban's gone.
Yeah, was
Okay,
lifted.
Iron Man does.
Yeah.
Yo!
Okay.
Captain
Yeah.
America finds happiness.
That's a real spoiler.
This is
Bro, don't remind me. I'm gonna start crying.
This is a yikes. I don't approve of any of these spoilers.
Captain
Mr. Stark.
America.
All I'm
makes a
saying is we
happy
won,
life.
Mr. Stark.
Back to Fortnite.
I love you 3000, Andre.
I gotta go.
I gotta go too, man.
So Jose, do you love Fortnite 3000?
Oh, at the I mean, I wouldn't say I love it 3,000, maybe like
Yikes.
maybe
Below
like
6 to
2,000,
900?
No, the
2003.
6 to 900 range. The 6 to 900 range, maybe.
Okay.
Like, if I had to give it like a, the peppers, if I had to go on the peppers right now, it'd probably be like
Poppy peppers.
a poppy pepper, probably be like a 3.5.
Yikes.
For me, I don't play it as much. I guess just because I played so much.
It's the only game you played for about 6 months.
It really burns you out.
Yeah.
But I've been playing it actually more recently. The other day, I played a few games, won a few, and it was good. It was fun. I think a lot of the new updates were good. I like the Neo Tilted and things like that. And I like how they updated a lot.
Do you think that? Do you think that like the intense hype that came over Fortnite, I think it was like especially last year, and the year before that, is like kind of gone now?
The intense hype, probably.
Yeah, like you remember everything that like was gaming was Fortnite, and it was breaking records. It was being talked about in the news.
Yeah. A lot of a decent amount of the streamers have stopped. Like only those who really made their career off Fortnite and really got big, like Ninja and Myth. They're the ones who still play it, but streamers in general are not streaming it the way they used to. So I think that's part of it. If they don't see a lot of people, if they don't see their favorite streamer playing it, or if their favorite streamer doesn't really like the game anymore, they probably will tend to agree with them at least.
Yeah.
And vice versa, like the streamers are going to go with what their fans want, and if their fans don't particularly want to see Fortnite anymore, they're not going to stream Fortnite anymore.
I don't really
So
play Fortnite that much. I played one season.
For like
but
2
I think
days.
it speaks to its success that when it
Those 48
had that.
hours mean something.
I think it speaks to its success when it showed up in Avengers Endgame that like pretty much everyone watching knew what it was
Yeah,
and like understand its cultural significance.
Yeah.
that is
Some
true.
It was even
people
in
wanna
the
claim-
YouTube Rewind.
Some people
We
want to
don't
claim
talk
that
about
it's dead,
Yeah, we don't.
but
That wasn't good.
I would not say that it is dead. Like that, a lot of people still play it. A lot of people still enjoy it. It may
Yeah.
not have the
What's our
same hype.
definition of dead here?
Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare it to what it used to be, is it
Oh, that's super dead.
super dead? Okay. So if you were gonna give a review, let's say if you're gonna rate it out of 5 poppy peppers, the not
Yes.
the game as it is now, but rate how the game has changed from, let's say, since you were playing season 2 to season 9. What's your rating on their changes? You know what I'm trying to say?
Their changes, okay.
Like, is it headed in a good direction? Is it not so good? What do you think?
That's very. That's a difficult question to answer because some things are great, some things are not so great.
Yeah.
They're like some of their updates, it just depends. But I like how they do listen to the community. I think that's a good thing. They do listen to the community for a lot of things. They listen to the community to bring back the drum gun, even though a lot of people are not liking that now.
Yeah.
Same thing with the planes. They brought the planes in, but then a lot of people told them to take them out, and they did. And they added I think a major thing is adding like different ways to get around the map. I do like how they changed the ways to get around the map. I think that's really great. That's one thing they do well.
Yeah. Because that's the big part of a battle royale, when you're kind of having to run and go everywhere because it's a big map. There's a lot of people, and movement
Yeah,
is
it's very
a problem
important.
sometimes.
I think its
Yeah.
decline also might not be necessarily attributed to the game itself, but battle royales in general. Because, I mean, no, if we're talking realistically, player numbers have dropped in pretty much all battle royales. Like Battlefield 5s, I rarely see anyone talking about. Apex Legends, I think, had potential, but Respawn just kind of forgot that it exists and haven't updated it.
Oh, really?
I mean, there was like a time where Fortnite dominated the market, and people saw this success and quickly tried to make ends meet to add a battle royale because they're like, "This is working. Let's add this in our game."
Yeah.
And now that we have all of them,
They've kind of saturated the marketplace.
yeah.
It's kind of gotten. I mean, and also the thing is too that when you enter a battle royale, let's say like Fortnite or like Apex Legends, you drop into the game and it could be a long time investment in this game if you're really going into the game, or you're kind of hiding and trying to stay till the end. It could be a 15 to 20 minute game sometimes.
Yeah, some people don't have that time.
Some people don't have that time, and some people just kind of lose interest after a little bit because how fun is it?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how fun is it to just like sit
until you're just
burnt out?
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. How fun is it sometimes? I'm going to sit in a bush for 10 minutes and hide, and then I'll go out to be the last guy alive. And other times where you're like, yeah, and other times where you're just collecting a bunch of cool stuff and you have all this cool loot, like really high end gear, and then somebody just comes up on you randomly and you lose it all, and you're like, oh,
Jose.
right?
Yeah.
So
but
I think that aids into like the kind of the tiredness there is around these games, the kind of that sort of feel over them, and the honeymoon period is pretty much at this point.
Yeah.
Like
like Jose said, I don't think it's necessarily a dead game, but it lost a lot of its momentum when everyone started to jump on the bandwagon of releasing their own take on the genre.
Blackout, Apex, I think.
Dying Light did it too.
If we're being honest and keeping it relevant with the podcast, the first Battle Royale was Minecraft Hunger Games. Let's be real now. Come on.
Yes.
Yes.
You mean the
And
best
then
battle
I
royale?
think it went to PUBG, and then from there we
I
got.
mean, Roblox.
Roblox,
Roblox
Yeah.
started
H1.
today.
Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I think overall, I mean, just the general state of Fortnite is that it's declined from what it used to be, and
I think
but
it's.
Epic
Yeah.
is still maintaining their updates fairly well. Like
I think it's still like a titan in the genre.
oh yeah, there's no, and not only in the battle royale genre, but just in the general gaming.
They kind of set the bar for how developers can and should interact with their gamers.
Yeah, that's a
Back in the day, I don't know if they still do this now, but they have like updating their game like every week and sometimes every day. There would be new changes, and that was part of what these guys convinced me to get it for was the constant support. They're like, it's a cool game, and they constantly updated it. All right, I'll check it out.
And the big thing too is like what you mentioned, Jose, when you were talking about Save the World versus the battle royale version of the game, is that the battle royale and the creative versions are free. The Save the World is paid version of the game.
Yeah.
So that also aids a lot into, and it shows other developers that, hey, you know what, Fortnite did so well on a free platform now, and then Apex Legends adopted that same idea, where we're going to give you the game for free, but then charge you, for the skins and cool cosmetic items from loot boxes. You know, you'll pay some money, get a random drop of cosmetics.
Which is a great way to go about it. I mean, they're not forcing you to buy anything, really. It's no competitive advantage, which I think is also really good, which you can't complain. I don't think you can really complain about Fortnite because they update it. They provide it to you for free. They have it on almost any platform. It's cross-platform. They do go out of their way.
Cross-platform is another big thing in gaming.
Yeah.
Big thing that they did too.
And Fortnite being the biggest game on the market at that point in time when they were pushing crossplay, it's an important factor. It's showing how to connect the community. When a developer that has so many people playing their game says, we want everybody to play this same game at the same time, no matter what platform, it pushes that idea of maintaining a sense of community amongst not only like gamers on the PS4, the PlayStation, or the Xbox, but everybody playing together and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's important that a developer like Epic, who has control, a lot of control over the community based on their game, push those ideas that, there's no separation between, Xbox and everybody. And then the toxicity that grows when, those teams are formed. It's important that everybody gets to play every game and with their friends on any console.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to end that state of Fortnite idea on, because that's what Epic is trying to push, and they're still pushing, and they're by, like you said, putting Fortnite on every platform, whether it's a phone, a console, or the computer.
Yeah.
I think they're also on the Switch.
Oh, and on the Switch, yeah.
I think it is also on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So everywhere you
Coming
can.
to the Samsung refrigerator soon.
The Louis Vuitton refrigerator too.
We can only hope.
Your smartwatch. Anywhere you can, anywhere you can access the internet, you can play.
Someone
Fortnite.
trying to run duos on my Apple Watch.
Anywhere. So yeah, anywhere you can play. You can play Fortnite anywhere, and you can connect with a lot of people anywhere, and that's a cool thing about Fortnite. Even though the game is in a slight decline. But to close out this episode, I think we review some gaming news and just talk a little bit about what's going on at E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, this summer. It's first week of June.
Yes.
And there's a story that says that Netflix said it themselves in their Twitter. They just said in a tweet, they said, "Hey, at E3, can we get an invite?" So what does that mean? Netflix is the world's biggest TV subscription service, streaming service. What
It
what
looks
are they
like they're
doing?
finally branching out because, as we all saw this year, Netflix did drop some new titles that were a little more interactive this year, as if they were on like mini games.
Minecraft, the
Bandersnatch?
Minecraft, the
Bandersnatch
Banga
Part 2?
Banga, yeah, Bandersnatch.
Oh, Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also did a new one with what was
Bear Grylls.
Bear
Yeah.
Grylls.
You
Yes,
versus Wild.
Wild.
That's
Yes.
so cool.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of just it's kind of like a choose your own adventure for both of those titles. So maybe
They also did the one with Minecraft.
Yeah.
They do that.
So,
yeah.
is it something that they're going to plan a new sort of, something more interactive on their platform, like a movie, or do you think they're branching into gaming?
Maybe a little bit of both. Yeah.
Hope they do gaming.
Yeah, me too.
What would that look like? Would it be another subscription service like Netflix, or would it all be under Netflix?
Wouldn't that be GameFly?
I can see them having a whole
GameFly.
different service, get the most money out of everybody.
Is GameFly though? I thought they ship it to your door, right?
They do.
They used to. Oh, GameFly or
GameFly still does it.
GameFly, yeah.
GameFly still does it.
Netflix started like that though.
Yeah, Netflix did start like that. Yeah.
I remember getting their CDs and ripping them and
I still miss
giving them
Blockbuster.
back.
Yeah. So, would they now develop another app for streaming? Maybe, where let's say that you could download it on your PlayStation from the PlayStation App Store. You just download
video.
Netflix or gaming or something like that. Net games. I don't know.
I could see them just adding on another extension to Netflix just for gaming, I guess.
But wouldn't that raise the price of it too?
Yeah, that's just another way for them to raise money for that Netflix.
There you go. Yeah, unless it's like a package like the Netflix and games, movies and games.
That'd be very fun.
Didn't Netflix like recently raise their prices too?
Yeah, they raise their prices every few months.
Yeah,
it's something subtle. If you have a recurring payment, you don't see it, which is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It's something children should watch out because kids, they're like. I mean, I think as an adult, you have to be cautious of your own financial situation. But little kids who want to be like, I want to have Netflix or I want this service, they'll just be like, well, it's only $5 a month. And they don't know any better. They're not going to see that it's subject to change or.
And then 3 days later, it's like $20.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's literally a changing time where you don't realize it. A recurring payment makes you have a false sense of security, and that's something to watch for.
Yeah, some alert or something should be added to those things, or maybe personally, just if you're a forgetful person, let me check up on what I'm paying for. But in terms of this Netflix streaming thing, do you think it could look like something like Google Project Stream or what's now called Stadia? Like the streaming subscription service that's coming from Google, where you could just get games from the cloud and play them anywhere, or I think that's only on your computer or your phone.
I feel like didn't Origin try to do that? The gaming company, didn't they try to do that with their new service with EA? Or am I thinking the wrong thing?
I'm not sure if they're streaming games.
No, because I remember they said that if you paid for like an Origin Gold subscription, this was like the time Battlefront 1 when it came out, that if you paid for like Origin Gold, that you can like get your games from anywhere and everywhere on the site, I believe, and you can you get early access and a bunch of stuff.
I think that is true, but the difference between like Google Stadia and maybe what Netflix is trying to do is stream games from the cloud. So like when you log on, let's say you just open up your computer and say, I want to play Google Project Stream did Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Say, I want to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You could turn that on, and you don't have to do any updates to the game or anything because that's all done in like external areas where hardware is stored, and the game just comes through the internet into your computer screen. So that's what I'm thinking that Netflix might do, because that seems like the most logical thing, because they've mastered the idea of or the methods of streaming in terms of streaming movies. Now they just have to bulk up their services to stream games.
Exactly.
And it comes not very far away from what Google was announcing at the developers conference with Stadia, the game developers conference, GDC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most likely thing, that they I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Netflix has up their sleeve, but that seems very likely from them. And another piece of news from E3 is that Fortnite will be the lead game. Since we talked about Fortnite, it will headline the PC Gaming Show 2019. Yeah. What are your opinions about that?
Oh boy.
I feel like Epic is still trying to kind of stay relevant in a way, because like kind of like Fortnite's declining, and then they started trying to buy up a bunch of games. I believe did they try to buy Rocket League, or have they bought Rocket League?
They bought Psyonix.
They
bought
did,
Psyonix. Yeah. They bought Psyonix, which owns Rocket League. So I feel like, you know, Epic's still trying to like stay under the light. They're still trying to keep that 15 minutes of fame. So with them signing up as like the lead like running point on Fortnite for PC, this is probably like a marketing like attempt to get more people to come back to the game, and so they can like kind of keep it running.
Yeah. And that's a big thing that we didn't talk about the last time around with Epic, the Epic Store, and how that's kind of changed gaming for PC players that now have like exclusives on the Epic Store versus Steam and stuff like that. So that's an interesting dynamic that's going on in the PC with Epic, with all the money that they've made from Fortnite. They're just buying up developers, they're buying up games, and trying to differentiate their service from a very long-standing service in Steam.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is really like fierce. I feel like there really is like fierce competition then, because if they're trying, like I said, like trying to stay relevant, like with trying to like rival Steam with the PC games, and then you know buying Psyonix, who owns Rocket League, which was a game that was free for a little bit using that PlayStation Plus subscription. Yeah. I feel like now like Epic's trying to like bounce back and forth between, okay, Battle Royale's probably not working out anymore. Let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, and trying to get ahead of that sort of not dying but declining sort of breed of games in the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And one final piece of sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's why they've extended even Fortnite to Team Rumble, which is like a team deathmatch, and as well as creative.
Yeah.
Even within Fortnite, they're doing things to
try to keep it alive. Yeah. And try to grow the brand. And the final piece of gaming news that I have from this week is the announce of Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
I've actually not seen the trailer yet.
You've not seen the trailer? Okay, so it's a somewhat...
I've not seen the trailer yet.
It's just like Wildlands 2, kind of,
It's basically Wildlands 2, but they're taking a very interesting approach to it where it's more survival-based. So your character... It takes place in the future, past after what the story of Wildlands. Yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands, by the way, was an open world game that you took down. Basically, I think it was Bolivia, right? And you were tasked to Ghost Recon
drug cartel.
Yeah, the Ghost Recon is a very elite group of military personnel, and they were tasked to take down the cartel in Bolivia. And you had this big open world, and you could do whatever you want, tackle missions at your own pace. A big part of it was team play. So you and your other ghosts, or your friends, could go in and then tackle an objective any way that you want. There were helicopters, tanks, a bunch of different things, cars, stuff like that. A bunch of different methods to take over and help you basically play the game, make a cool, fun experiments and stuff like that. Anyway, that was Wildlands, and now in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they've taken a much more survival approach to it, in which your character will need to eat, drink, and if you, let's say, fall off a high cliff in Wildlands, you wouldn't really have you, but here you could break your leg, and then you're gonna have to be dealing with that broken leg until you reach like a safe zone, and you could heal yourself, or if you have bandages or something. So you'll be slowed down and stuff like that. So it's a cool. Yeah, they're taking. It
really is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're you could say that they're bringing the character to the breaking point.
Got him.
Yeah, proud of that one. I just thought of it.
2 poppy peppers.
two poppy peppers for that joke, for that pun. But yeah, that's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So, what are any thoughts about that? Anybody who's played Ghost Recon Wildlands, what do you think of the adaptation to the formula of Ghost? Because it still is an open world, and who's the guy? The guy who plays Punisher?
Nomad.
John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal is going to be, I think, the main villain in it.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought I thought he was going to be the main protagonist in the trailer.
No, the main
It looked like
protagonist is, I think, like the generic guy that Ubisoft made. What is his name? Nomad. I think that's still the main guy.
That is the main guy that you're playing with in Nomad. And another cool thing that I just thought of is that you could, how you could tackle things different ways, like bases and stuff. In this one, like you could do, you could hide yourself by like putting mud and like putting the environment on yourself, so stuff like that. So I think it takes a very intense survival and stealth approach to what the game is.
Yeah, looks like they're going for more of a realistic vibe this year, kind of.
Exactly.
Taking our own little spin on survival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, any thoughts about that? Would you buy a game like this? Is it kind of? I mean, for me personally, I didn't really enjoy much of what Wildlands was because if the world felt too big, and it felt like there wasn't a lot of content in it, and the content that was there was just too much and too not focused a little bit. So hopefully with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they can kind of change that up.
Yeah,
well, I feel like I need to see more.
Right, exactly. It's like you need to see more. You always hear about these games adding more and more, getting more realistic, but like when is it like too realistic to where it's just not fun anymore? It's just real life at that point. A lot of people like to play games to escape real life. You don't want to sit here and like, oh, I broke my leg. I can't do that.
Better drive to the doctor.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I broke my leg. I'm like 100 kilometers from the next like safe point. I have to crawl all the way there.
Exactly. So you just kind of got to see more.
That's true. You always need to see more gameplay and more once the game comes out, see what the reception is. But it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting taking Ghost Recon and kind of, or like what they've done to Ghost Recon and this new sort of games as a service approach where, you keep pumping content into that game to see that, take form in a new thing, in a new game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that closes out our gaming news section. Unless you guys have found any new articles, interesting topics.
Nothing comes to mind.
I think you covered everything.
Awesome. So I think to close out this episode, how about we do one funny gaming moment, if you can kind of describe it, if it's describable in words, and you don't have to look at the game.
Oh, man. I can think of about a million from Gang Beasts.
One funny gaming moment that you've experienced.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Because
very adamant.
Gang Beasts, that was gonna be mine, because Gang Beasts is like it's not really, it's not a fighting game like the competitive type of. Very silly.
It's like ragdoll business, kind of just hitting each other.
And it's hilarious to play.
Yeah.
And there was one time me and my friend Big Red, who hopefully be in it.
One day.
Shout out to Big Red.
He and I were trying to tackle survival for the first time because we both had just bought Gang Beasts. And there'll be these like giant dudes that can one punch you, and I remember wheezing so hard every time it knocked me out instantly. And then whenever we'd play with friends, there'd always be this one level with the barrels that I'd always just pick up and swing around in a circle with. They know what I'm talking about. But every time I hit someone and knock them out, I just start laughing.
My trigger word.
I just start laughing uncontrollably because it's so funny. So that'd probably be my moment.
Those are good times. Every time on Gang Beasts is a good time.
I have to play Gang Beasts after this.
We should probably get on Gang Beasts tonight.
I said it first.
I'm already on, just saying.
For my gaming moment, I think this might also be one for Beater too, where we were playing Destiny, and we're doing these things called raids, and those are 6-player, very strategic and cooperative events. And in one of those raids, we had a player named Lightning, and he was a Titan.
Yes.
Shout out to
Keep
Lightning.
talking. Yes, keep
Shout
talking.
Shout
out
out
to
to
Lightning.
No, don't give him a
Let me-
shout
let me
out.
start. This is good.
Lightning.
So there's this guy, and I may or may not give him a shout out based on
Shout
editing.
out to Lightning.
His name is technically Black
Shout-
Lightning.
Shout out to
It's Lightning Bolt, buddy.
So,
No shout out.
so you had to defeat this final boss, and in that game there are different classes, and the class that this player was playing was the Titan class. And the Titan could put up bubbles, protective bubbles, and so everybody was kind of in the vicinity of this character. And the thing with the bubbles is that it protects incoming damage, but you also can't shoot out of it. So when everybody was propped and ready with all their rocket launchers ready to shoot the boss, he throws up the bubble. Boom. And instantly,
blew up
5
for the-
guardians down, and Lightning was the only one.
Yeah, and he looked around like, guys, what happened?
Yeah, he's like,
Stand
what
by for
happened?
Resurrection.
Good
That would
old
be my
Lightning.
funny. Don't say the name. It's editing.
Editing.
That's,
Oh,
but yeah,
What a
that would be my
character.
that would be my funny gaming.
What a character.
What a
What a
character.
guy. What a guy.
Anybody have any other funny gaming moments?
Oh, I think I can think of one from with me and Buffavy over here shared. I think there's some other people there. I got trying to remember. We were playing Xenoverse against
Oh, yes.
one of my boys, Jay Willie. Shout out to Jay Willie. I'll say Papa bless to Jay Willie.
Angel, the shout out guy here.
I'm just gonna shout out everyone. Shout out to you, Mike. I love you. Where are we going? Okay, so Jay Willie. We're playing this game called Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. We're just fighting each other, having a good time. I think Jose's in the background. You can hear him. I have a video of this on YouTube. See if I can find it one day.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
And he's telling me a story about someone from his job. This man called Tucker. Shout out to Tucker. And I'm just
Shout
fighting
out,
against
Shout out, guy.
Jay Willie, and he's talking in the background, and I'm listening to a story. And then something happens in the game where I use this thing called a limit burst, which makes me stronger. Then I hit him with
Best
one move,
comeback.
and he instantly dies. I'm one shot, but then he instantly dies afterwards. And everyone watching and in the party, I think the baby was there. Was it Jamil?
No, Jamal wasn't there.
There was a few of us
Shout out
there.
to Jamil.
Everyone just starts laughing.
I started
He starts
screaming.
wheezing.
Yo.
And then Jose wasn't watching, so he had no idea. He just heard everyone screaming all at once.
No, my favorite part is after you were done screaming, you said, "So what were you saying about Tucker?"
As if nothing happened. We just went right back to the comments. It was the moment outside of Gang Beast that was funny. Which is always great. Gang Beast is the best.
Yeah, that is a pretty fun game. But I think that's a good wrap for what is Game
We get
Chat
everybody?
episode 2. Oh, did we not get everybody? Did anybody have
Oh,
Demon Days didn't go.
Yeah.
Beater
Demon
didn't
Days
go.
Beater didn't go? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead
Skipping
and
some people.
go
Big
Peter,
skips.
go ahead.
Oh, yes. All right, I'll go. So
Ladies
besides
first.
the gaming, nice. Besides the moment that Bob Food was mentioning about lightning, or the guy putting up the bubble is the guy putting up the bubble is. I
Redacted.
remember playing Rainbow Six Siege, and we got a full squad together. And I remember I ran up to one of the support characters to get a heal, who is Poppy Pooth. And I asked for a heal, and instead he shot me in between the eyes with a revolver. And then when I asked for a heal, I was on the ground. He hit at me and shot me again.
In my
remember
defense,
that.
in my defense, that thing that he shoots the healing darts with looks suspiciously like a gun.
They're very similar. It was designed that way.
in my defense.
In my defense, but Poppy Pooth did go on and win the match for all of us. So it really was the strongest choices require the hardest wills, or whatever. The strongest choice
Exactly. It was
requires.
a soul for a soul, you know?
Yeah, it was a
Exactly,
soul
yeah.
for-
I used the stones to destroy the stones.
Yes.
So that would be my favorite gaming moment right there so far.
That's a good one.
EJ?
Did Jose go?
Oh, my favorite gaming memory would be around last summer. And it would be just getting back into my love of gaming after not being on for about 1.5 years, and
Oh,
just
Nice.
playing with some really cool people and just enjoying it all over again. Falling
Awesome.
in love with gaming
That is funny.
again.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jose is the last one, right?
Pretty funny, yeah.
Jose?
Okay.
Who, Jose?
I'm gonna make mine's a little short because it's not a very long story, but it is pretty funny. You kind of had to be there. It was
Oh, okay.
really
Really
funny. I
inside
mean, it'll
Was
still
any
be
of us
funny.
there?
I mean, nobody here was there. Nobody who was here. I don't think. But it was really early on in Fortnite. Really early on.
Oh my
Because
god.
I think she was there.
No, I wasn't here.
Headphone warning.
it was really early on because team damage was still a thing. You can still damage your teammates. This
Those
is
are
like
good times.
early season 2, way back then. And one of our friends, Big Red, and another one of our
Shout
friends,
out.
another one of our friends, Marcus. They
Big
were
shout out.
on
Marcus, it's your
my.
father.
We were all in a Fortnite squad together. I don't remember who the fourth was. I don't know if we had a fourth. Sorry, I don't remember.
It's okay.
But
Irrelevant.
Oh,
yeah,
Ooh.
to this story, it's pretty irrelevant. Well, we're just walking as a squad, and I forget what happened, but they start to argue. And in the game, Big Red threatens Marcus, says, "Do not come close to me, or I will, quote, put you down." And I guess Marcus just wanted to test the waters, so he kept getting closer, and Big Red kept warning him. And eventually, Marcus took out his pickaxe and hit Big Red, so he damaged him a little bit. And the next thing I see, I was looking at both of them. Big Red did a quick 180, the fastest 180 I've ever seen in my life, and just one pumped him to the head.
Got him.
And
you did warn
There you
him.
go.
he did warn him. He did warn him, and Big Red just proceeded to run off.
Never to be seen again.
Deuces.
Never to be seen again. Just ran off, and the only thing he said is, "I did warn him." And then after that, he stopped
Did warn
talking.
him.
Marcus was literally speechless.
No voice was heard.
I mean,
It
what do you
was
expect? You did
phenomenal.
warn him.
Yeah, he did
It
warn
was
him.
phenomenal. Yeah, that was pretty great. Definitely
Awesome.
the best Fortnite moment.
So with that, I think that's episode 2. A wrap. Thank you for everybody that's joined the voice channel today. Just give a final shout out. Thaby, Demon Days, Jose, Beater, and Angel were all here to talk about these topics today. So thank you guys for being here.
No problem.
Thank you, Poppy
Always
Poo.
fun.
It
We
was
need
a
to
lot
get
of
Big
fun.
Red, yo.
Yeah.
Thank
Puppy
you for
Pepper.
having me.
Poppy
Poppy
Peppers,
Bless.
yeah. Poppy Bless.
That's the episode right there.
That is the episode right there.
Can we get the last word?
Let's
So-
say thank you.
Those are your points. Thank you.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
So, I mean, the last word here is that, going off our topic in the beginning of the episode, based on society, is that maintain some gamer etiquette and some internet etiquette, and that's an important thing, especially now when the internet has become such a big part of our lives. Remember that you're talking to other people on the internet. It's not robot. It's not a robot, or they're not a bunch of robots. Maintain the same etiquette that you would if you're talking to. Respect that other person on the other. Respect that other person on the other end, as you would do yourself. Respect yourself. Respect everybody else. I think that's the biggest thing. Should be the last word of this episode, and the most important topic about this episode. So thank you for listening to Game Chat episode 2. We hope to see you back next time with a new cast and new topics to talk about. So thank you.
Poppy Bless.
And that's Game Chat signing off. Game Chat is a podcast series from The Log, so if you enjoyed, please like, please follow, and please subscribe anywhere you find podcasts. Go and visit our merch store, live now with a bunch of designs and styles. Listen on YouTube if you'd like a transcription of the episode. And always, always remember to laugh a little.